Angela.
Yes, Pat.
You know what? You've got a fascinating guest to introduce me to in just a moment.
Okay.
And, but I said just a moment because there are some priorities, right? Like giving away free stuff.
Yeah, takes precedence every time.
You know the nice lady that you talked to from the Yahoo organization?
Heather Cabot, yes.
Right? Graciously, she left a book. I'm getting a hernia just holding this thing up for crying out
Great
loud.
resource book to keep right by the computer.
Okay, you get the book. You get the Yahoo book. All you Yahoos out there, all you have to do is pay attention because it's Quest. You make the call. Now, Angela's far too young to remember this. That August the 5th, 1957, a music program started in Philadelphia. WFIL started American Bandstand with Dick Clark, a Syracuse disc jockey, made its network TV debut on ABC in 1957. But you know what everybody knows about American Bandstand? Did you know, though, that 20 years later, in 1977, they changed the theme song to this?
We're going hopping today. We're things are popping. A Philadelphia way. We're gonna drop it on all the music they play on the bandstand.
Who wrote it? That's what I want to know. Who wrote that bandstand theme song? First call, you get the Yahoo book and a new job on the audio board at AZTV. All you have to do is to call in, be the first call. Do you know? Huh?
I don't know. No.
Really?
I know that dancing is the universal language.
Very
but I
good.
don't know who wrote the actual song.
This
That
is-
did make me want to dance, though.
This is Dancing with Angela,
It is.
right? Okay.
Sports dancing.
Barbara Kennedy, Angela, Pat, we're a family.
And if you remember American Bandstand, you're a baby boomer.
Yeah, well, and that's, of course, what your life has been devoted to, with baby boomer men. But I'm not looking for love. It would seem to me that an awful lot of guys are, and they're having a difficult time with it.
It appears that way. But you were a matinee idol, so, you know, love comes to you, Pat.
Right.
Right, back when they had matinees.
But what does constitute a baby boomer? What does that mean?
Those born between approximately 1946 and 1964. I rounded out. It's 45 to 65, so it's a bracket of 20 years.
Did you see the morning paper today? Did you see the article about guys who just simply are afraid? They're afraid to date. They're afraid to approach. They're afraid to go over and ask somebody to dance. They're afraid to ask,
Pat,
do
I've
you want to
always
drink?
been so happy I'm a woman in that respect because I don't know if I would have the courage to go up and ask a woman to dinner, to dance. I mean, that takes a lot of courage.
Well, what can guys do about that, Barbara? You're the expert.
Walk over and ask them to dance or to dinner.
But it's a
But what about
rejection
rejection?
problem
Yeah.
after
Well,
that.
so what? It's not a death certificate.
Yeah.
Well, you know that. But now tell me why a professional man can make 55 cold calls a day trying to sell insurance or Midas brakes or securities, and they get rejected all day long.
Because I think it's a blow to the ego. It's not a sense of what you're selling or a product. You are the product.
Right, but why is that a blow to the ego? Some people just have other things going on in their life. And just because someone says no, thank you, doesn't mean you can't ask again tomorrow. I mean, you can ask until they tell you, you know, I said no and I meant no.
Is it easier for a woman to come up to a guy to initiate something, a phone call perhaps, to somebody that that they just happen to have been introduced to?
Baby boomers have a tough time with that because we were raised by our Donna Reed mothers.
Yes.
Okay.
Beaver, Donna
Right,
Reed, yes.
exactly. Girls don't call boys. Girls don't call boys. Girls don't call boys.
But you don't recommend, though, that you continue to perpetuate that idea, do you?
Well, there are some men who are very traditional, and they are the pursuers.
So what do we do? What do these men do right now? They're finding themselves either widowed, divorced, say they're 60 years old. They don't know what hooking up is. They don't know what the new generation is calling all sorts of these terms of dating. How do they acclimate themselves to this century?
Well, if you're going to go out into the dating world, it's very important that you're open. You're just open. Because we are so culturally diverse right now, you can't possibly know who you are talking to. It's not like we went to school together and so we've had all of the same experiences. right? And so you have to be open to differences. And isn't that exciting when you meet somebody who's different than you are? If you have the strength and the wherewithal and the equanimity to open up and take a chance and hear what they have to say. Who are you? I mean, you and I spoke, we were very open. I've been speaking to people here at the station for the last 45 minutes, and everyone is open, and everyone wants to know more. So when we get ourselves in a situation where we're attracted to somebody, we go deaf, dumb, and blind, don't we?
I've always been attracted to people that are quite unlike anything that I'm usually around. I really find that to be attractive. Oh, you lived in Africa, or your parents did this or something. But what happens when you find out, particularly baby boomer men and much younger women, there's nothing to talk about? Because the other day, I happened to say something about the Dick Van Dyke Show, and a fairly well-educated 23 or 24-year-old woman at the radio station said, Dick...
Who? Right.
Dick Van Dyke.
Right.
But Pat, that's what surprises me. That I have to tell you, I was at a happy hour the other night, and I could not believe the amount of men that were over 60 with 20-year-old women.
All right, so
I
what do
thought
they
time and
talk
time
about
again.
then? Okay,
Is there a lot of
besides
talking
that.
going on?
So he's not with her to chat. He's not with her for or for a connection of an intellectual conversation.
No.
Why is he with her?
Oh, for a boost. It's an ego boost. I can still be attractive too. Now, men usually get into trouble when they do that because everybody has an agenda, right? We're dating, we just met, I have an agenda. I want to go out on a date. I want to get to know you. I don't know what your agenda is. We don't know each other well enough. Now, tell me why a 26-year-old woman would date a 60-year-old man.
So you know, I know, Pat knows, but how does that man not know that, why she is with him?
He doesn't care.
All
He
right,
doesn't-
but when we get back, because we've got to take a break, when we get back, I don't know that we're going to solve everything today, but would you please at least respond when we return? This is one of those brazen teases that we use in this business so that you'll stick around. We know what he wants. He wants sex. And I'm wondering if it isn't also that easy to determine that she wants things.
Yes.
Yeah, what kind of car does he drive? And all of those things, it seems, that hasn't changed.
But
It's
that
only
hasn't
school.
changed since the beginning of time. Men marry for, okay, sex. Women marry for security.
I
That's
want to find
never
out how.
changed.
But I want to find the auxiliary bishop was just here. I want to find out how moral that is, though. When we get back, for crying out loud, I'm the spiritual leader of this station.
Thank God we have you.
We'll be back in a moment.